let's move on to the elephant in the room, AI, with all of this. I think it's quite clear it's not going away. So, and if anything, it's getting, bigger and bigger. So I think with AI, let's start with the more boring area, but very important, around, regulations. What are we seeing, Rob, with regards to AI and regulations like GDPR, CCPA?
Yeah. Well, firstly, I know AI hasn't been around, it's not been mainstream for a long time yet. But I think we're at that stage now where everybody understands that AI is here to stay. I mean, I would compare the revolution or the AI revolution to the creation of electricity or the internet. It is here, it's landed, and it's going to be around forever, and it's only going to evolve. Um,
Just a stat on that. So
yeah.
apparently AI at the moment is at, from an IQ point of view,
Hmm.
at 140.
Amazing.
The average IQ of the global population is 90.
Well, there you go.
So
And you mentioned like compliance and data privacy. Like data privacy, albeit extremely important in this case, it is literally one consideration when it comes to AI. I met somebody called Dr. Margaret Hartnett at a recent networking event, and she runs a business called Progressio.ai. And they are a leading deep tech startup already supporting AI providers in navigating these complex regulations that are coming into play. She was basically telling me about something called the AI Act, which is a new EU law ensuring that AI systems are safe, that they respect fundamental rights, and they foster innovation. She was telling me about how the legislation takes a risk-based approach, with certain AI applications in recruitment and employment being classified as high risk. And they include things like AI used for hiring decisions, task allocation, performance monitoring, and workplace assessments as well. And that AI Act applies to AI systems used in the EU, regardless of where they're developed, meaning that any UK-based providers, they must comply with that act. Um, Providers of high-risk AI systems face really stringent obligations when it comes to complying with this act, and there is a deadline she told me about, which is the 2nd of August 2026, a date that stuck in my mind. And I genuinely, I got the impression that meeting those requirements is going to be really costly and time consuming. And it's something that, time is essentially, if you're a solution provider in this space and you're leveraging AI in your platform to help with some of those high risk areas, this is something that you're going to need to start doing something about right now, because it's not something that's going to, you're not necessarily going to be compliant overnight if you
yeah,
don't know what compliance looks
wow.
like.
I think, I think that's exactly it. The onus on compliance around things like GDPR, CCPA, ultimately, I guess it sits with the provider. And AI is new. It's all very new in lots of different areas. But you know, I think any decent provider or reputable provider around an ATS, the assumption there would be that they are going to be, compliant with that. But I suppose it doesn't stop you sort of checking that against your own internal requirements around, GDPR, things that we all know very well now. GDPR first came out, we were all scared of it and didn't know anything about it, and now we're all so used to it. But it's thinking about what's the basis for the data collection, the processing, security on data storage, all of those normal things that we're very well used to. But outside of the data and the collection, the storage, there's probably a bigger question there around sort of bias and fairness and how AI deals with that. And I know there's an argument that it's more fair and has less bias, because it's not a human doing it. But it's probably quite important to understand how that AI model works, and how it makes decisions, and perhaps audit that and test that on an ongoing sort of regular basis against fairness, bias, and how that
Mm.
works.